senior NFL insider for ESPN, to tell us how hot this seat is and maybe some potential others. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter. Shefty, Micah immediately goes on to X after the reaction. Everybody, he says, listen to my podcast on Bleacher Report, and I can explain my side after people have reacted the way that, I think anybody that heard what he said would react there about Mike McCarthy. Seemingly, Micah okay with Mike McCarthy leaving. Jerry feel same way. How do we feel about Mike McCarthy's job positioning after a very, and I can't stress this enough, very embarrassing loss to coach Nick Sirianni and their rival Philadelphia Eagles?
Look, here's the deal. Like, in the last year of his contract, Mike McCarthy always was going to have to win this year. They were always going to have a good season. And the season in Dallas just continues to slip further and further away. You're seeing a team that's regressing, not progressing. You're seeing a team that has more and more injuries, that loses its quarterback. Dak, I don't believe, is going to wind up playing again this season. He's in New York getting consultations with a specialist on surgery, which already is scheduled for Wednesday. Now, it's always possible that this doctor is going to say, hey, hold on, we don't need to do this. But they are preparing and operating with the idea that he's going to have surgery on Wednesday that would knock him out 3-4 months at least. So there's not a lot of hope in sight. And you got a head coach on an expiring contract. I think Mike McCarthy belongs as a head coach in this league. But in Dallas, they're going to have to do something. Yeah. And they paid the wide receiver and they paid the quarterback. And when the head coach is on a expiring contract, it's hard to imagine that all of a sudden they're going to go give him an extension after a season like this. So we'll see how this all plays out, but it's a tough time there right now. And, the Micah Parsons thing, if you listen to the whole thing, I don't think it's as egregious as people are making it out to be. I think he's just saying that coaches can always go somewhere, and there are players who are at the end of their career. It's probably not the best use of words after a loss with a team in the state that it is, but I don't think it's what people are making it out to be, like a player saying, Mike can go leave, get out of town. It's not like that.
Yeah, it was the end, I think. Everybody's talking about the first one, him saying a coach can do whatever he wants. Agreed. Coaches can coach seemingly forever, and they are. Tom Moore is still coaching for the Bucs. Tough loss yesterday, but still coaching for the Bucs. It was that end comment where he was like, Zach Martin, these guys have done much more than Mike McCarthy's ever done. It's like, well, all right, Mike McCarthy, I don't think he's probably seen his family in like 4 years as your coach, and I understand he's not on the field doing his thing, but maybe he needs to drop himself in at tailback and fullback. We will listen to Micah's podcast to hear what he has to say for that entire thing, but good luck down there, everybody. Good luck.
I just want to point out, like, this is the state of the world we're in right now. Like, this star football player who we believe is going to become the highest paid defensive player in NFL history has a podcast to talk about his comments about his head coach. Like,
is it a work?
That in and of itself is odd to me. Like, again, his job is to be the best football player he can be, and their season's not going great. So I don't know what he's going to say that's going to make people feel better. That to me, that's a whole other issue. I guess that's the day and age we're living in, right?
Well, seemingly, Micah is a little bit different because of how elite he is as a football player and how good he is as a football player.
Incredible.
He's so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him run around.
Immediate impact.
He's so good. I think he's the first one who's like really, really, really good. That is like, you know what? Yeah, listen to my podcast. I'm not doing any other interviews. I'm only going to do my podcast. Usually the guys that are like really good at football kind of keep the main thing. Like that is kind of, and try not to stir shit. I mean, just last week or 2 weeks ago on that podcast, they didn't have Dak in the top 5.
Him and Jake.
Yeah, so it was like, there's seemingly a lot of drama, but you know who loves it? Bleacher Report. Good sign in Bleacher Report.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Are they paying him for that?
I don't
know. No,
right?
Not. Where's all the outrage from the journalistic standard people? Anyways, we'll definitely listen to hear what he has to say. Big Mike McCarthy's like, Mike, you don't think I'd do anything with
Oh, I guess I haven't done anything.
Yeah, you're right. I've done nothing. I've committed my whole life to football. I guess I've done nothing. Yeah, all right. So Mike needs to start showing face a little bit more in the weight room like Harbaugh and everything. Let's talk about coaches and seats being hot. Let's head up to Chicago. Obviously, what's going on up there, not great. People are saying Caleb Williams is regressing. He's obviously getting sacked a lot. If you listen to some quarterback gurus and people on the internet, it's like sacks certainly offensive line fault, but Caleb also hanging on to the rock, seemingly doesn't know what he's doing. Shane Waldron, offensive coordinator, I don't think a lot of people have come out in the past and said, this guy's a great offense coordinator. Yep. Eberflus obviously has sweet hair and a great beard, but it's not going right. What are you hearing up in Chicago? What are your thoughts up there for the Bears as a whole?
Well, what is it, 2 straight games now where they have not scored an offensive touchdown, first time in 20-plus years. And I think the troubling part here is that when you see Caleb on the sideline, like flashed him a couple of times, to me he looks a little bit like Bryce Young looked at the start of the season. He looks a little bit like overwhelmed and shell-shocked of what's going on. And so they're at a point now with this team struggling where they have been engaged today in conversations about what is the best way for them to move forward as a franchise and improve as a franchise. And so I don't know that they've decided on anything right now. I don't know what they'll ultimately wind up doing. Matt Eberflus addresses the media here, scheduled to address the media here in about 24 minutes. But I would expect that there'll be some sort of change in Chicago on the offensive side of football. Is that changing the play caller? Is that changing the quarterback and benching Caleb Williams for Tyson Bagent? I think all these things are being discussed in the building today. And ultimately, the organization has to figure out what is the best course of action for this franchise to move forward and to protect everybody. Like, you've got a great quarterback in Caleb Williams, who right now is regressing and getting beat up and starting to look like some of these other quarterbacks have looked. Are they better off going with Tyson Bagent there? Are they better off changing out the play caller there? I don't know what they're ultimately going to decide, but I don't believe it's going to be status quo on the offensive side of the football.
Bryce Young obviously goes back in. They win a couple games after being benched for a bit and changing some stuff. So maybe a perspective shift up there could change and help Caleb, or maybe the entire world would implode if they were to bench Caleb Williams, like what happened here in Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not giving a guy a chance. Have you heard? I'm not going to ask. I don't want to know the answer.
Well, you should.
Sure.
They're not working in Indianapolis? Nobody works hard in Indianapolis? Did you hear Kenny Moore say that? Did you hear that?
You know, listen, you lose games. It's tough. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to lose games, though, whenever you just don't work. Is that what's happening? Because this building has seemingly had a culture question for the last few years with this particular group of Indianapolis Colts. What the hell is going on in there?
Well, you're in the building. You tell me. Are they working hard, Pat?
I don't get along with any of them, actually. That's kind of the difference. When I go to these games, Buffalo Bills, I'm talking to the entire team pretty much. Colts come out, he said some rude things. You guys suck, dude. You guys suck. You guys shouldn't even be in there. You're the keeper of the jerseys right now. Now you don't even work. I can't take it. I'm done with them.
Some of them, not all of them.
You're right. I like Kenny Moore. I appreciate that he came out and said it. I love Zaire. Love EJ Speed. Love DeForest Buckner.
Some dogs in there.
Love Quinn.
Only strong as your weakest link.
Love Joe. Flacco's awesome.
We're not working hard. We got people gambling on our own team. We got people missing team meetings. We got people doing the training room. And then you're going to hold out for the first two. Okay. All right. Burn it down. The whole place. Not Lucas Oil. Not the Loud House.
Yeah, can't pay for that. I'm not
got the
doing
Lions
that.
in 2 weeks. Got the Jets this weekend, which let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Need
go.
this one.
Let's absolutely go. And then we got the Lions at home in 2 weeks. Detroit people won't travel, right?
No, it's too far.
Detroit people won't. Bills Mafia took that stadium.
It's going to be so loud for those Detroit fans in Lucas Oil. I cannot wait. Yeah.
If they lose to the Jets.
All right, let's talk about another coach maybe that's on the seat before. You got any news? You're breaking any? Are you texting the Colts right
now? So I just want to make sure that they are.
Nope.
Just anybody. Just ask if anybody. I know the training room is. Mm-hmm. They don't sleep. Equipment managers don't sleep.
Yeah. Conti's
having the tough.
Conti definitely isn't sleeping. Conti's grinding.
Conti's got the amount of ease. It's like, come on, dude. Come on. Let's get the leaders in there. Step it up.
Here we go.
But who are they?
Everybody get on board.
All right, let's talk about another coach that maybe is at the end of it. we were forced to watch this game 9:30 in the morning in Germany, and shout out to Hockey Lee speaking some German after his dad spoke some Spanish way back. That was kind of the upside. Bryce Young, okay, he looks like a different guy.
He's back.
Smiling, happy, doing his thing.
Happy.
Canales is having some moments.
Chuba.
David Tepper's buying some beers over there, over in Munich for the people. Let's have some beer steins. Let's go ahead and have a good time. Chuba just got paid. He's balling out. And on the other side, they suck. Danny Dimes, this guy's bad at ball. And then you got Dayball. Beard looked cool.
Yeah.
Glasses look cool.
Credentials
are sweet. Team stinks. He's obvious. What's going on in New York, you think?
Well, obviously it's not great. When you lose to the Panthers, your record is worse off than them. If the draft were today, the New York Giants would have the number 1 overall pick.
Congrats, bro.
Win.
They'd have the number 1 overall pick right now. So, usually teams that are in a position of having the number 1 overall pick usually have some issues, and they're number 1 for a reason, right? So, again, we'll go back to what John Mara said a few weeks back. He basically said that didn't anticipate making any changes in season, wanted to stay the course. Again, John Mara said the same thing in 2017, fired Ben McAdoo a few weeks later, said the same thing in 2021, fired Joe Judge a few weeks later. I don't know that anybody can say that anybody's safe in New York. I don't know that anybody can say that anybody's safe when you're on track to have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And again, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say he's not making any changes. We don't expect anything in season. But I think that they're going to be looking at everything, and I think anything's possible there.
I did not see that guy just put a towel over Tracy's head.
We missed that.
Hey, bud,
Well, he fumbled at the end of the game.
Yeah.
He fumbled, and he played great.
He did.
He played great, had a big touchdown run, and he's an explosive young player and had a disappointing ending. So they just want, cover it up, Pat. Cover it up. Yep, there you go.
It's not here in Germany. Please just keep it moving. Yep, you're good. All right.
Good teammate.
That is a good teammate. They're going to try to zoom in and get every angle on your face. They're going to say, 9, sprechen Sie cry. MGK crushed at halftime. Overtime, Panthers win. Long trip back. Thought Mara might pull the trigger on the way back. That's kind of been the international game flu a little bit. If it loses on the way back, we're thinking about it. We're done with this entire thing. Hopefully Mara had a blast over there in Germany and sleeps on it. Dayball, though, seemingly staring down a new profession. Good luck to him. Let's talk about a guy being all the way back. Go ahead, D-Buck.
Yeah, somebody we've had an eye on all season long, especially you with him being your fantasy pick. Christian McCaffrey got out there yesterday, played over 80% of the snaps, didn't have one of typical C-Mac game, but most importantly, is he healthy? Did everything check out after the game and going forward?
Yeah, you know what was interesting here is that initially when they were getting him ready, they felt like he could have played last week instead of yesterday. And they initially thought also that they would go in and that they would rotate series with Christian McCaffrey, get half the work, and he kept practicing, and there were no setbacks, and he felt completely fine and normal. And then yesterday, there was no pitch count. He basically played the whole game. The numbers were not sterling like they normally are, but he was productive, and he looked good, like he looked like Christian McCaffrey. You see the burst up the middle there. He changes the offense. And I just think his presence alone uplifts everybody there and provides a different element. And they went on the road and won an early game. They were worried about this game because Tampa had lost a few games in a row. It's before Tampa's bye. Tampa's back home. They felt like it was a real dangerous game here. And they were able to prevail in the end. Quite an adventure. Baker Mayfield was unbelievable yesterday. Like that guy. Oh,
fighter.
Oh, like he has Nick Bosa hanging on him. And he throws a 4th and 7 pass and completes it for a first down. Wow. It was incredible. Here's the play. Watch. Baker rolls out. Nick Bosa gets a hold of him.
Who'd you run for?
This is 4th and 7. And then he throws it downfield for the first down. I mean, there were so many chances that the Niners had to put away the Buccaneers. And because Baker Mayfield kept making plays like this, they couldn't put him away. He was incredible. And I know this team's losing, but it's not because of Baker. No. Guy's been on point here.
Agreed. It's been like that for the entire season, Baker Mayfield. And even if you go into last year, last half of the year, Baker Mayfield's been on fire. Him and Tampa seemingly the right fit. Now is in the NFC, the Niners are always going to be around. CMC being back certainly helps with that conversation. How about that catch by George Kittle?
Yeah.
Toe tap.
He's so big.
They got the weapon.
Pearsall getting involved.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall just months after getting shot right in the chest in public at 3:30 in the afternoon in San Francisco has a touchdown where he has to outrun some people. And then Purdy extends a play, drops a dime. George Kittle, both feet in. How do you do it at that size? It does not make sense. The nimbility of a ninja. George Kittle. And the way he secures the ball with his right hand on his chest is a beautiful thing. He was never going to let that go. He was like, get on over here, ball. You're not going anywhere. You're with me. Let's go ahead and win this game. Brock Purdy, who's all the way back. Brock Purdy.
Can I just point out a couple of things about George Kittle? Like, again, talking to that team in personal observation, like the positive energy that flows from that guy is unbelievable. Everybody that watched him on receiver saw what that guy's about. And just last week, just a little sidelight, if you'll allow me to indulge, right?
Absolutely.
My daughter does this show on Nickelodeon. So we arranged for George Kittle to talk to my daughter last week to run on Nickelodeon this week. So on Wednesday night, after practice, he comes on, 45 minutes, could not have been more engaging, could not have been more entertaining, could not have been more patient. And again, it's hard not to watch that guy and root for him, but when I was in my room watching that interview and the way he handled a 16-year-old girl like that, I'm a fan. That guy is impressive in every which way.
Yeah. Oh, hey there is actually his new line with Chubby's. Got some great shorts, great tank tops. Obviously, they're trying to market his positivity, but I don't think he's trying to sell out. And at the end of the day, he's just a tough football player. And when you make plays like that at the end of a game for your guy, obviously the ball is going to continue to go there. And remember, ever since Brock Purdy became the starting quarterback, he and George Kittle I think George Kittle had his first 2-touchdown game the first week that Brock Purdy was starting. And it's like Brock Purdy has always had respect and appreciation for George Kittle. They've always had great chemistry, and it was on display yesterday in a big way. Shout out to the Niners being back.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are they going to be able to beat the Lions with everything that's going on with the Lions?
Yeah.
I have no idea. How about the Philadelphia Eagles getting as hot as they're getting over there? I mean, the NFC is starting to kind of find its way, and don't let the Rams, tonight against the Dolphins, don't let them continue to get going. The Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
There you go. Who's in first place in the NFC West?
Kyler Murray and the
Hey,
Again.
Cardinals are in first place. Guess who hasn't allowed a touchdown in the last 3 games? Arizona.
What?
They played the Bears and the Chargers and the Jets, and they haven't allowed a touchdown. But do you know the last time that franchise hasn't allowed a touchdown in 3 straight games?
When?
98 years ago, Pat.
98 years ago?
Excuse me?
98 years ago.
It's crazy.
Gannon's got to figure it out. Gannon's got the boys rolling. Yeah. And Kyler, I think, I forget who was talking. I was watching a video. Maybe Baldy broke down a play action that they have. I guess he ran like a 4.2 in high school or something like that, but then never ran a 40 again.
Baldy?
Yeah, no. Baldy ran a 4.3 in high school. Okay. And then he did. Kyler Murray, I guess, ran a 4.2 in high school. And then I don't think he's been clocked ever since. And it's like his speed is so deceptive because you think to move as fast as you have to be bigger. You have to be able to stride. Now, Tyreek Hill, obviously, but Kyler does the same exact shit that Tyreek does to people, just at the quarterback position, and in the way he's been operating as a leader of this team, I think is seemingly the big development. They're all over the place. Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously getting the ball. This McBride fella is a dog. I love his tat. I love the way he operates. It seems like they have an edge to him. It's like the Arizona Cardinals continuing to do what they do, and then that leads to an ass beating of the New York Jets, who we thought were back, which leads to these types of questions from AP Tone.
Yeah, Schefter, you've been seeing a lot of stuff about Aaron Rodgers' 2025 and what the New York Jets are going to want and what Rodgers is going to want. What is your take on the whole situation of the quarterback situation moving forward with the New York Jets?
Well, you could ask him when he's on, right? He's on every week, right? But what I would say is from afar,
you tell us what you're hearing. Obviously, he's on our show every Tuesday, Chef.
What do you hear?
I know
We're talking about what insider you have, because what we're reading is.
Pat,
go ahead.
Don't interrupt me when I'm breaking news. He's on your show every week.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for promotion.
Your show right there.
Thank you for promotion. It's very nice. It's been 5 years of that, and if he's If he's on every week, we get excited, and we understand there's a chance he's not. So that's how it kind of rolls depending upon his schedule. We will obviously talk to him tomorrow. We assume that'll be how it goes. But what are you hearing from that side? Because you would assume Woody Johnson, who might get back into ambassadorship,
That's right.
I guess is being pitched out there. He can't be happy with how this year went. He already fired a coach. This continues to happen. They make a trade. What does the future look like from the Jets standpoint, you think, in this entire conversation?
I think everything's up in the air. Like, the season's been incredibly disappointing to everybody. Aaron looks to me like a guy. He doesn't look like he's having fun. It's not fun to lose. It's just not fun to be out there when seasons are going south like this and you're unable to string together victories and the offense isn't getting any points on the board and you're getting blown up in Arizona like that. That's not fun. So I just think that when an organization already has changed its head coach, when the GM is in the last year of his contract, when the team is not winning, you know that everything is up in the air. It's like Dallas. These teams that are having these disappointing seasons, there are going to be things that happen. There are going to be changes that are made, and you just have to see how extensive they wind up being. Obviously, I think Aaron will have some say here in whether he wants to keep playing or not. But he doesn't look like he's having a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, and that was his big message, is we got to start having more fun. And then 34-6 out there, it's like,
That's not very fun.
That doesn't.
I'm excited to hear what he has to say tomorrow. I assume it's very loud over there in New Jersey.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I assume it is very loud over there in New York. And this is certainly not how the year is supposed to go. I'll be excited to get his take. Ambassador Johnson going back overseas, though. I saw some people on the internet say he's good for the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. People are loving that.
That's what people are saying, not us.
No,
we don't
no.
know the ins and outs of it enough, but they're saying, let's go to an undefeated head coach in the NFL. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter in New Orleans, Coach Rizzi got his first dub. What's that situation like? Is there a chance that he ends up, getting the full-time job? And then have your sources told you what caused him to take a 10-pound shit before the game to clog his toilet?
Yeah, I thought that was the news you're going to be getting at, that he clogged the toilet and then came out and discussed it afterwards. It was quite an admission. That was a first. I don't ever recall a head coach nor an interim coach ever coming out and saying that he felt bad that he clogged the toilet in the coach's bathroom right before the start of a game. So that was something. That was something very new. I can't speak to what caused that exact issue.
Well, it might have been some gumbo. It might have been some gumbo.
Little
down there.
boudin,
Might have been a little boudin, wasn't it? It could have been a boudin. Could have been some crawfish. Maybe he was sucking a head down there. I mean, there's a lot of things down New Orleans, Louisiana, you can certainly find yourself in. And I think it does move. Move.
Yeah.
He said he thought it was going to be a crappy day, though. Which I thought was pretty,
Pun intended.
Yeah, that was pretty clever in that whole thing. But hey, they got a big-time win over the Falcons. I don't think any of us would have expected.
Here's the thing, is that interim coaches, I think, are always fighting an uphill battle to keep their jobs. They're taking over teams that aren't performing well, but it can be done. We saw what happened in Vegas last year with Antonio Pierce. He won over the support enough of players to get the full-time job. So it can be done. It's usually not the route that teams go. They usually open it up. We look at New Orleans. I mean, I could think of some candidates out there that are so logical to me, right, that are just so obvious.
Like?
Aaron Glenn. Obvious one. Played for the Saints, beloved in the franchise, finalist for the job the last time, doing a great job in Detroit. I mean, that's an obvious candidate there in New Orleans, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's a simple one
He
to
got
me.
a game ball here.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, great celebration yesterday. He loves that team. He and Johnson are both going to be up for conversation of who's going to be head coaches where, and MCDC is going to have to manage that with this continued success. But I love the Riz special teams guy gets a big-time win.
Hell yeah, Coach.
And I like that he's just operating as usual,